serious strippers of Reddit. What do you really think of the people that see you perform? Not personally a stripper, but I had a good friend that was a stripper, and since the club she worked at had a great lunch buffet, I'd go and visit her often. She would hang out at my table between sets, and after a while a lot of the others would as well. A lot of the conversations would turn to their opinions of the men that came in. Yeah, that really turned me off from going to clubs. They basically thought of the guys as stupid cash machines and would laugh at the ones they would get to pay their rent/car payments/etc. when they wouldn't do anything, that is. They would show them some affection and talk to them outside of the club, but wouldn't have any sexual interactions. I hope I'm not stealing the question, since I was just a server at a boobs and wings place, which a lot of people, myself included, sort of consider junior level stripping. Same as most of the other answers here, in that most everyone was cool, a few jerks here and there. But what struck me was how many older, lonely, divorced, widowed or single guys desperately needed to be around female energy. They were also sweet, polite, courteous and more often than not generous, if they could afford it. Some cold and that was fine too. I always got the impression they came to our place because it was there. We could have been selling ice cream wearing 50s housewife attire, and they still would have showed up. It wasn't about the skimpy clothing at all to these guys, just the chance to be around women who knew their name, their job, their story, etc. It always made me very happy we were there, but sad that society seemed so disconnected that we were maybe the only place they felt comfortable going, where they wouldn't be judged for what was simply a human need to be around other people of the opposite sex in a non-sexual way. Depends on the person. I've had stalkers follow me home, creeps who tried to get violent with me at work, people who pissed me off. I've also met some really wonderful people I'm fine with calling my friends. I just had a baby and invited 2 ex-customers to my baby shower in June. I dated a stripper for a while. No, we didn't meet at the club. We were 18, and she looked super young. She liked some of her regulars, but she would often get married guys in there, and she absolutely hated them. Not that she wouldn't take their money, because she wanted to just have fun, and not worry about ruining people's marriages. She also disliked the people that were old enough to be her dad, because there were a lot of old creepy people who would proceed to show her pictures of their kids who were around her same age. In general though, as long as people tipped well and didn't make things awkward, she seemed to really enjoy most of her clients. Also, never ask your stripper out, she probably doesn't like you. And also don't propose to them, because that makes it super awkward. They're just people. No one proposes to cute girls out of the blue. There's no way to handle that situation that ends well. I think it depends. I see all of the guys as potential for money. If you're rude to me, or if you sit at the bar and don't tip, then I think poorly of you. I've dated like 4 strippers, some for a few years. I think their opinions were mostly that the dudes were chill. There were the he tried to shove his finger in my pussy, so I broke it nights. The he got a champagne room for 3 hours with 3 girls, and fell asleep, so we got drunk type nights. Indian dudes seemed to do the weirdest shit. A couple dudes just got naked in the lap dance booth or champagne room, and got kicked out. One my girlfriend said she left for less than a minute to check in with the bouncer, and returned and the dude was naked, and had nicely folded his clothes next to him. Weirdly sweet but horrifying. They threw him out naked. The thing I noticed though is that after a few years most of them really started to low-key hate men. It's just generally they get exposed to men continually at their worst or most horny. I think it ended up being toxic. Ex-stripper here. Of course I encountered all different types, but I'm here to mention one type in particular, my favorite. There were a lot of customers who were lonely or didn't have anyone to talk to who would really listen to them. They figured out that they could come in and pay for company. I would sit at the table with one of my regulars for a few hours and just talk. I made a point of showing that I valued them as a person and was genuinely interested in their conversation. He knew that he was taking up my time and every so often would hand me another bill. I didn't pity them. I respected them for figuring out a way to engage with other humans and satisfy their need for connection. I hope they like what I'm doing and that they spend a lot of money on me and we have a good time. Ah yes, something I can answer in depth. I've danced for 9 years at various clubs from nice to men. Guys who sit at the bar and mind their own business are generally a pretty good target, unless they are regulars who never do jack shit. Regulars who never spend could get hit by a car and I wouldn't help. They are often rude, prey on new girls, and mostly waste everyone's time. Guys who come in and don't tip, buy dances, or even buy us a drink, and or act like they are too good are also fucking punk ass bitches. People who sit around on their phones are rude as shit. If you sit at the tip rail on your phone, I want to kick your phone out of your hand so bad you don't even know. I'm up here topless, performing for your entertainment. Go to Hooters if you want to play Heroes and Castles on your phone, and have a beer FFS. Guys who are painfully nerdy and shy are my favorites. I keep a few polyhedral dice in my purse as a token of solidarity. I can smell that new board game smell across the room, through the stale beer and cotton candy perfume. Good old boys are going to be perfect gentlemen when sober, but will likely get drunk and commit the worst acts against you. Blue collar workers are often paid cash daily. That guy covered in paint and concrete will make my day. They just want to cool off with a beer and feel special. Woo girls and fake swingers are annoying AF. Keep your girlfriend out of the club. She's making a fool of herself by trying to crawl on stage, giving you the shittiest lap dance, and these women always do shit like groping us without asking, or being really rough, because I'm a girl too. Oh, don't fucking touch me. Becky. Women who come in to try to show us up are bottom of the barrel creatures. Go back to your suburbanite nightclub and order your syrup pineapple there, okay? Actually gay and bi women are a treat. Performing for a woman who is legitimately interested in me is nice, because it provides variety. Traveling businessmen are an assorted bunch. They have good paying jobs, are lonely, likely very educated or savvy, and just want companionship. I spend a lot of time with these guys. Weirdos. I mean real weirdos. The guys that still live at home and are spending their parents' money, not because they are rich, but because they are so weird / off they can't hold down a job. These are the guys that I feel the worst about. Like, PLZ don't come in here. You're wasting your parents' money and asking me to do oddly specific shit. Have some fucking tact. The gangbangers. Ugh, these guys just suck. They are emotional, temperamental, and a fucking risk all around. The illegal activity guys. These are the guys with the blow, the guys that constantly try to fuck girls, the guys that pull their dicks out on you, the guys that try to get girls in their game. They are pimps. These are the guys that could also get hit by a car and I wouldn't help. Dealers, pimps, rapists, johns, gtfo. So yeah, I think that's most everyone. Strippers for bucks parties or strippers in clubs? Strippers at bucks parties don't usually hang around long enough, 20-30 minute maximum, so interaction with guys is limited to just during the show. You mainly hear guys in clubs more so want to chat because they are either lonely, like the attention briefly, or become regulars and make friends with the girls. What strippers really think is about the money. At every job you go to there is always the same personalities, they just look different. You have the arrogant guy, the nice guy, the shy guy, the funny insecure guy, the drug addict, the alcoholic, the drunk touchy guy, the guy who thinks is super good looking and you should want him, the narcissist. It's more so about the different roles a stripper can take on when working for all of the above guys. Counselor, best friend, cleaning lady for when he spills his drink, the comedian to make them laugh, security guard for other girls, the dominatrix because they want to be playfully hurt in some way. The list goes on. The more you spend stripping you more learn about social psychology. It just depends on how they behave. Wanting to have a good time and be around nice, pretty girls and see some titties is perfectly normal to me. What makes me not like them is when they don't understand what I'm there for. Customers who understand that I'm providing a fantasy experience in exchange for money are the best. I don't mind if they want to flirt, talk dirty, or squeeze as long as they stay respectful / playful and are paying me accordingly. Customers who think they can do or say whatever they want to me without tipping, or because they threw a couple ones at me are the ones I don't like. And the customers who think just because they are giving me money I no longer have boundaries. If you're not tipping, or only tipping a little, don't try to grab me when I walk by, don't make nasty comments to me, don't sit at the stage and stare all night and only tip $1. And even if you are spending money on me, there are things that I'm and am not okay with you doing, which I will happily explain if you ask, before you try it. And don't waste our time. We are there to make money, so if a dancer sits and starts talking to you, and you're not planning to get a dance, tell her that. Just give her a couple dollars for the conversation and politely say you're not interested. Don't let us sit there trying to hustle you if you know you're broke. When customers are respectful and having fun, I have fun. When they're gross, rude or broke, I don't. Ex-stripper here. Most of them were cool. We had one old guy named Cummer Steve that would get dances from the new girls and whip his dick out and jizz in their hair. He always had $300 in his wallet that he would hand over before they made him leave. Occasionally a douchebag would come in, but they got handled pretty quickly. I once had a guy hold up a $5 bill and ask what he could get for that. I cheerfully snatched it out of his hand and told him that he could watch my ass as I walked away. Edited for more context, as some people are super riled up about the $5. This guy grabbed my ass as I walked by. I suspect it wasn't the first time he'd done it. I shoved his hand away from my body and told him that if he wanted a dance, they started at $10. He then held up the $5 and asked what he could get for that. His options at that point were pretty much get punched in the dick by someone, curb stomped on his way out by the guys at the door, or lose $5. I think his friends were relieved as he had been a total asshole all night and he behaved himself after that and no one got kicked out. Generally depends on what kind of customer that person is really. The best kind is a dude who understands that it is all a game. They tip well, they are sociable and polite, may even be regulars with certain girls, and are never a problem. The entire club staff loves guys like this. The ones that the dancers hate. The I don't pay for dances guy who thinks that line will somehow make him desirable for dancers. Captain Save-A-Ho, his trademark line goes something like, you are too beautiful / smart / amazing to be doing this. If you get with me, you can leave this behind. The pimps that go around asking the girls if they want to make some real money are real pieces of shit as well. Then there was the ones that I really had a personal dislike for, the dudes who would try and wait in the parking lot at the end of the night because Cinnamon and I really had a connection, you know. She told me to wait for her. No she didn't, buddy. If Cinnamon told you that, she did so knowing that I would be kicking everybody out of the parking lot before the dancers left for the evening. The strip club industry is a weird place. Source: longtime strip club bouncer. Ex-stripper. The guys that came in and knew the deal were great. Tip the girl on stage, get a lap dance, be polite. The worst were the guys that thought they were smarter than the strippers, or that they could somehow game us. Like, one guy I remember went on a whole rant about how smart he was, because he could tell it was all fake and the girls weren't really attracted to the men. Yeah dude, you're a genius. Or when they think they're funny by degrading the women. It's not funny, and you're the one that looks bad. Honestly, for the most part one didn't think about the guys much at all. I was on autopilot most of the time, and didn't judge them any more than thinking who looks interested in a private dance, or who was a douchebag I wanted to avoid. Was male stripper for a bit. My opinion, it's all types for all reasons. Passing judgment on folks generally just makes you less approachable. There are good folks who like gyrating naked people, but are awkward socially, and have lots of money. Creepy is still creepy. Considerate is still considerate. Only difference is I'm not wearing pants. You get your share of creeps, but mostly where I worked, a long time ago, a lot of young groups of guys just looking for a good time. Every once in a while you have someone who has too good of a time and gets rowdy and acts like an idiot. Granted, I only work 2 to 3 nights a week. People who dance full time, especially during the day, have a whole different kind of crowd to deal with. But customers are generally all the same, just looking for something to distract them from life for a while. Feels like a lifetime ago that I danced. My husband and I go together now every once in a while to get a private dance for a while, and it's way more fun being on the other side.